tips for great presentations? That's the question someone asked me a few years ago. And I said, no. Because it really didn't matter to me as my work never involved giving presentations. Then one fine day, I had to give a presentation to some of my clients. Although they were just a bunch of people, I never felt so nervous in my entire life. I spoke very fast without breathing because I just wanted to get over with the presentation. Soon I realized it's not going to work like this. My next presentation has to be great. Now on the way to develop my own presentation skills, I discovered many little hacks that could improve the way we present things to the audience, maybe small or large. So in this video today, I'm bringing you these little hacks that would make a great amount of difference to your presentation skills. Hi, I'm Akash, and today I'm going to share with you few ways to improve your presentation skills that have helped me personally, or I could say they have saved me on a number of occasions. So let's get started. Well, I'm not going to start with your appearance. How should you dress? It's common sense. I'm sure you all know that you need to be well dressed and appear great when you're supposed to stand on the podium. Of course, you know that. You're not going to wear your most comfortable boxer shorts and give a presentation. But I would like to add something here. Wear something that you're comfortable in. Only because you saw some presenter wearing that impressive jacket, you also should jump in. How you carry, what you wear is important. Okay, now if I say that you need to be a genius with your presentation, that would sound unrealistic. But you need to know these 3 no's even before you start preparing your presentation. These 3 no's are definitely the building blocks for any great presentation. The first no, know your room. Arrive early and stroll around so you know where you will be presenting. You get the feel of the place. We humans always take some time to get adjusted to the environment. Next, know your people, know your audience beforehand. If you have a brief background about your audience, you can tune your presentation accordingly. What's the point of presenting something that is not in sync with your audience? Let me explain that to you better. Now in the software industry, when you develop a software, understanding what the client needs is important. Understanding their business is important. If you don't do that, the outcome of the application, what the client has picturized, would be completely different. Even though you are great at your programming skills. Same thing applies when it comes to understanding your audience. If you do your homework well, your presentation is sure to be accepted by the audience. And finally, know your speech well. Rehearse the presentation until you are comfortable with what you're saying and how you're saying it. After all, you're presenting to and for the audience. If you sound confused with your presentation and it's not absorbed by the audience, what's the point? So always remember these 3 no's. Know your room, know your audience, and know your speech well. Take the comfort of knowing that nobody understands your presentation or your data in your presentation better than you. There's a very popular mantra shared by a theatre expert that says, sometimes mess-ups can happen. The audience doesn't know your script. So it could happen that you could mess up with some of the points in your presentation. You might forget to highlight some important facts. What would you do? Would you start saying sorry to the audience, or maybe panic or freak out? Come on, just relax. Instead of freaking out, freezing up, or trying to ignore it happen, just try to be graceful about it. Chances are that it went unnoticed by your audience. And even if it was noticeable, all you need to do is say, excuse me, I would like to add some more information here, and carry on with your presentation. Believe it or not, presentations can be fun. All you need to do is be prepared and know your audience well. Are you one of those people who gets really nervous and start to walk up and down the stage like a polar bear in zoo? Mark a spot for yourself on the stage, or bring a stool if required. Guys, people are watching a presentation and not a tennis match. I'm really bad for shuffling when I'm talking. I even flap my hands around when I get excited with some points in the presentation. Remember, you're presenting. What do you want your audience to remember? Your poor body language or your great presentation? Do you want your audience to think about your message or your body movements? So be aware of your body language. Do you wriggle from one foot to the other, crossing and uncrossing your legs or stepping backwards a lot? Try to keep all these body movements under control. Make some eye contact. Eye contact helps keeping the connection between your audience and you, and is one of the key elements for a great presentation. If you show your back all the time while reading your slides, that will destroy the bridge between the audience and you. Now also remember, staring down your audience without a blink can be creepy. It's also stressful on you. Shift your gaze, and sometimes it's acceptable to glance at some note cards if you have one. But also remember, just don't read those cards, because reading those cards would be as good as reading those slides. Come on, you need to smile. Everyone knows you're nervous. Giving presentations is nerve-wracking. So make sure you're smiling and make an effort to make that eye contact with people. Practice meeting the audience's eye while you're rehearsing, and it will feel a lot more normal in the quick presentation. This will project you as a warm and friendly person, and your audience will also be at ease. Using PowerPoint? Well, you're not the only one. Do you know there are around 350 PowerPoint presentations given every second across the world? And what do you think? Are they effective enough? They aren't that effective. Immediately after a 10-minute presentation, only 50% of the facts can be recalled. By the next day, only 23% is retained. And 7 days later, just only 10% of the information. You know, this human mind has its own limits, and it can only hold on to between 3 or say maximum 7 points. You should aim for 3 main points and your presentation would be remembered. Also avoid big wall of text. This is a common mistake a lot of presenters make with their PowerPoint slides. I know it's tempting to stick every item of information on your slides. However, this will intimidate your audience and the recall value of your presentation would be limited. Now, if you have too much of text on your slides, that would also force you to turn back to the audience, which is a big no in all forms of public interaction. So guys, keep your slides brief and let the audience keep the attention on you. Now, rather than focusing your mind on your presentation and how you're going to do it, think about the message that you're going to give. You'd come across as a more passionate and interested, and would give yourself an expert presenter status as well. You'll also make fewer mistakes because you won't be flustered. Define the purpose of your presentation. Before you start designing your presentation, ask yourself, what's the purpose of your talk? In general, you're either informing, persuading, or building a goodwill. So think about it. Are you sharing your expertise, giving a step-by-step workshop? Do you want people to buy your product or service? Are you motivating people, educating them? Or are you presenting case studies? Is it purely entertainment? Now, these are just some main themes you could build your talk or presentation around. One of the best public speaking tips I have learned is to make sure that you're only gonna cover one main topic and just stay away from adding anything else you might want to share. Although it might be important as well, it just takes away the power of your presentation. Now, what do I mean by this? For example, this video is about how could you improve your presentation skills? Well, designing a good presentation is an important part of presentation skills. However, my main goal is to introduce you to the important hacks for delivering a good presentation and not how to write a good presentation. I will certainly do that in some other video. But in this video, my main topic is how to deliver great presentations. And I'm going to stick to that only. That's my main topic. Although I might share a few highlights about designing a presentation, but that's not my main topic. You need to draw an outline of your talk. So you have a framework to start with. Because if you don't know the main purpose of your talk, no one in the audience will. So always define the purpose of your presentation. Hey, slow down, it's not a race. Focusing on speaking slowly should be one of the most important things in your talk. Because you're speaking for an audience where not everyone is an expert on the topic. Possibly quite a few people have English as their second or even third language. And it really just takes time for people to let new information sink in. Practice speaking slowly. For some reason, people talk faster on stage. I remember my boss always told me to speak so slowly until the point it gets uncomfortable. That will be the perfect tempo for the audience. I promise it's gonna feel a little weird initially, but what's weirder? Speaking a lot slower than usual or stumbling over your words and confusing your listeners? There's one more way you could learn to speak slower. Listen carefully to each and every word that you say. Only say the next word when you have listened to the first one clearly. It will help you to certainly slow down your speaking speed and be more clear with your words and pronunciation. Why do phrases like once upon a time, in a land far away, immediately grab our attention? Because those phrases tell you you're about to hear a story, and stories are incredible communication tools. When you tell stories in your presentation, they challenge our intellect, stimulate our imagination, and touch our emotions. Why does everyone love a good story? Because stories communicate ideas and information that no other medium can. Now, no matter where you tell a story, it could be around a campfire when you're on a picnic, it could be by the water cooler in the office, or in a courtroom, or even in an auditorium while giving presentations. The impact of a story always remains the same. When you tell a story, start strong, be engaging, capture the interest of your audience, and get them thinking with an impactful story related to your presentation. Look through for anywhere that you can add in stories in your presentation, or really a good or relevant image from where you could build the stage for telling your story. Storytelling will make your presentation seem realistic, as well as help your presentation to flow naturally and increase the retention of your presentation by a minimum of 65%. So learn the art of storytelling. It certainly works. Now, listening to a presentation for any length of time can be a difficult process. If the talk doesn't engage their attention, the audience will start to feel distanced from your presentation. They will start to lose track of the flow of information and eventually fail to absorb your ideas and insights. To engage an audience fully, the presentation needs to be energetic, purposeful, and staged as if it is a direct conversation between you and the audience. Direct interactions with the audience is harder, as most presentations are one way only. But if you find a way to get your audience to do something like an activity, chances are they will remember what you said much better. The activity doesn't have to take long, but just let your audience members speak or speak to each other for about a minute. To give you an example, I can recall a presentation I attended where the speaker asked the audience to close their eyes for a second and think about their first travel experience, and then turn to the person sitting next to them and share their travel experience. Very simple, but so powerful, as the rest of the presentation was all about powerful travel stories. Involving your audience is essential to make an impact. Your presentation should pull them in, get their attention, and stimulate their thoughts and understanding. The way that you would deliver your presentation should create a bond with your audience and ensure that the audience receive a positive message about you and your presentation. The single most important thing to remember is that there is no one good way to do a presentation. The most memorable presentations always offer something fresh, something no one has seen before. So do not on any account try to emulate every piece of advice I've offered here. Take the bulk of it on board, but make the presentation your own. You know what's distinctive about you and your idea. Play to your strengths and give a talk that is truly authentic to you. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notifications for all our new uploads. Thanks for joining me and keep watching Skillopedia, your place to learn skills for the real world.